All right, good afternoon or good evening, I should say, everybody. Welcome into um, Southern Tennessee weather here on a beautiful Thursday afternoon. We're going to talk a little bit about the forecast over the next few minutes here, especially the forecast for this weekend. So, thank you guys for tuning in. I did send out an alert on the app, so if you're on Facebook and you got that alert on the app, just tell me. I'd like to know who else got it because I that was my first time doing that. So anyway, what we're going to go through today is the weather headlines, what I'm expecting, kind of my current forecast, and just everything else in between. Okay, so again, thank you guys for tuning in with us here to our Thursday edition of Kirby's weather snapshot, but it's a live stream today. So, weather headlines for today: potential continues to increase for a widespread winter storm this weekend. Ice, sleet, snow, and rain is all on the table for us here across the whole area. It's going to be a mess over the next few days here, and a timing and exact transition zone from rain to sleet to freezing rain is still unknown, but we're starting to get a clearer picture as we go deeper into the forecast period. So we're going to talk a little bit about that as well. So winter storm threats with this system we have coming in. Impactful freezing rain is likely on Saturday. I have a high threat. Travel impacts are high as well, especially Saturday and again on Sunday night. We'll talk about why that is here in just a little bit. Power outages are also possible. I have that at a medium threat, and then there's a medium threat for tree damage as well with broken limbs and things like that. So a lot of folks on Facebook are saying that they got the app notification, which is great. I'm glad that y'all got that notification. So, thank you guys for tuning in to us here on Southern Tennessee weather. So, let's go ahead and look at the alerts that we have currently in place. Right off to our west, or south and west, there we have an ice storm warning in effect for potentially some very incredible rain or freezing rain totals upwards of a half inch or greater. There's a winter storm warning in effect for the northern portions of our area. So that's going to be Marshall, Murray, Bedford, Marshall, Murray, Bedford, Coffee, and Grundy County are under the winter storm warning. Okay. The winter weather advisory, Moore and Franklin counties are under the winter weather advisory here. So it's a little confusing. That's why I got a little tripped up there because there's a lot of different. You can see the different colors that are on this map here. Winter storm watch off to the west or off to the east. Ice storm warnings, winter storm warnings, winter weather advisories. If this doesn't tell you that it's going to be a mess over the next few days, I don't know what will, because it's just we have a lot of stuff going on around here. So. Um, so let's go ahead and look here at the latest. So what I was mentioning the other day is the low pressure track is going to mean the difference between maybe a transition to normal rain across the area, and then still some impactful ice and freezing rain, or a south track, which would mean more freezing temperatures, so better chance for a little bit more snow, and then a little bit less ice and a little bit less rain, probably no rain at all with the south solution there. So right now it does look like the north track is going to be the track that we're going with here. All of the models that I'm seeing right now are pretty set in stone with a more northern track component here. So we are going to be dealing with a little bit of normal rain, and we're going to talk about here in a second. So first I want to start off with my in-house model. This is the Baron model here. Let me stop this. Yes. So this is my in-house Baron model here, starting off at 4 o'clock p.m. on Friday. You can see we're in the 30s across the area, maybe low 40s down into Franklin County, but starting off fairly chilly. We can see here that we start to dip down into the 30s or into the low 30s and upper 20s, maybe even the mid 20s by the time precipitation sets in. This is the earliest model arrival time that I have seen so far. This is showing an arrival time around 1 o'clock in the morning, which I think is a little early, but still, our arrival time right now looks to be sometime between midnight on Saturday night and 6 a.m. on Saturday morning. So 12 o'clock a.m. Saturday to 6 a.m. Saturday is kind of the sweet spot for when frozen precipitation is going to start moving into the area. Okay. So starting off here, we can see at 1:30 in the morning already seeing some snow and maybe some sleet over our western communities in Murray County, and we can see as we go deeper into time, this freezing rain, sleet continues to overspread the region. And this model here already has a transition to rain in far southern Franklin County before we can even get into Saturday. I think this is a little bullish. I do expect this to be all freezing temperatures around the area, and we should stay mostly frozen for a good majority of Saturday, but still just something to keep in mind there. And as we go forward in time here, that transition line starts to sneak up. So Saturday at 10 a.m., already seeing widespread rain, just normal rain across a good portion of the eastern part of our area. And this one here has pretty much rain all the way through Saturday and a good portion through Sunday too, just rain. I mean, this is looking like a rainstorm here. Now, like I said, I think this is a little bullish here on the overall potential for this being a rain event, but it's one of the things that we're watching, right? I mean, the temperatures are going to be so close to freezing, especially as we get towards Saturday evening and into the overnight hours. We're going to have to watch closely for, the potential that this could be all just normal liquid rain. I don't think that that's going to be the case, but you can see Sunday at 2 a.m. here, Altamont at 33 degrees, and then Spring Hill, Columbia, Chapel Hill, Mount Pleasant, also in the low 30s. So, like I said, it's going to be the difference between rain and freezing rain is going to be so small. It's such a tight forecast window here. And I'm trying my hardest with the information I got, but it's tough sometimes. So this is the GFS model. This is the American model. And this is showing a little more freezing rain and sleet and maybe a little bit more snow too. We're going to go ahead and look at this right now. Now, this is the 12Z model. The 18 is already ran, and it shows a little bit more rain pushing into the region than this one shows. But overall, it has around 5 o'clock in the morning, snow on Saturday, snow, sleet, freezing rain starts to move into the region. And then as we go deeper into the day on Saturday, we're still below freezing across the area. So this is 12 o'clock p.m. on Saturday. We've already had sleet, freezing rain, maybe a little bit of snow for a good portion of the morning on Saturday. And this will continue into the afternoon and evening hours before we finally get that little pocket of warm air as we head towards early Sunday morning that will transition some of us over to rain. But you can see it's not going to be very many of us here. I mean, it's still showing Shelbyville is going to stay all ice in this event, right? So, and a little bit of snow on the back end too. So what the main takeaway should be from these two solutions is that there's still some sort of disparity between the two, but overall they're starting to come into an agreement that we will see some sort of rain start to push into the region at some point on late Saturday night into Sunday morning, okay? So here is the HRRR model. We're finally in range of this model. This is my favorite model to look at here, and it's showing by 5, 6 o'clock in the morning, we're seeing rain. Don't look at the temperatures. The temperatures are wrong. I forgot to change those. Those are not right. This would be in the 20s here when this snow moves in. But this starts off as all snow on Saturday morning, which could put down a little bit of coating, maybe up to an inch of snow here before we transition over to freezing rain later in the day on Saturday, okay? And this is the HRRR model. This is the most reliable short-range computer model that we have, and it's just now coming into range of the event here as we get towards Saturday morning. And again, these temperatures are not changing because I forgot to change them. So don't look at the exact temperatures that are shown up here, because that's not right. So anyway, now let's look at my general thinking here. This is what I think is going to happen based off the data I have been presented over the past few days, or over the past few hours here, overnight last night and into this morning. The best chance for a changeover to rain is going to be along and east of US 231, basically, is what I'm saying here. So Shelbyville, Bell Buckle, Manchester, Tullahoma, Lynchburg, Winchester, Huntland, Suwanee, Altamont, down to Fayetteville, up towards Murfreesboro, and places off towards the east are going to have the best chance to change over to rain late Saturday night into Sunday morning, okay? So this would be sometime after dark on Saturday. We start to get some of that warm air to push in, and we transition to all rain. Now, if this happens, we're going to see ice melt off the trees. Any accumulations that we have on the ground will start to melt away, and this is likely going to be some moderate to heavy rainfall. I mean, I've seen some models showing upwards of 2 to 3 inches of rain, just plain rain falling. So, I mean, there's going to be some heavy rainfall if it does transition over, and we see above freezing temperatures. So keep that in mind. That it looks like our best chance is basically going to be along and east of US 231, at least right now. Now, further off towards the west, so west of US 231 is kind of where I think the best chance for below freezing temperatures throughout this entire event is going to be. So this is going to be the best chance for freezing rain and the best chance for frozen precip, okay, throughout the entire event. I think that everybody in all of our counties will get some sort of frozen precipitation on Saturday morning, okay? From Saturday morning to about maybe 4 or 5 o'clock on Saturday evening, I think we will be all frozen precip across the area, and we will have time for accumulations to occur across the entire area. But it's just not going to be as prolonged with the winter impacts for areas off to the south and east, including Franklin County, Grundy County, Coffee County, Moore County, and some of Bedford County. Now, this still has time to change, right? We're still 48 hours out from the onset, really, of precipitation. So there's a good chance that a lot of this can and will change as we go further into the next few hours and the next few days, okay? So this is my ice accumulation map, okay? This is kind of the map that I created. I created this at 2 p.m. today, and I will update it with the data that I'm getting in tomorrow and then et cetera. But right now, the best chance for accumulation is going to be areas along and west of US 231 where we have the potential for below freezing temperatures throughout this entire event, okay? So a 1/4 inch to a 1/2 inch of ice is going to be possible, especially as you get towards Murray County, okay? So this is going to be Columbia, Mount Pleasant, Spring Hill. That's the best chance for an ice storm occurring at this current moment. From what the data I have available, an ice storm is very likely across Murray County and places off towards the west and north and just off to the south of there as well, okay? That's the lowest risk for rain transition is going to be that area. Now, the 231 corridor, okay? Thank you for the stars. Thank you, thank you. So on the 231 corridor, this is kind of the iffy zone, okay? You can call that. This is the little I don't even know what kind of purple to call that. It's not the bright purple. It's a little darker shade of purple there. So 1/10 of an inch to a 1/4 inch of ice. Okay. And this would all occur before we transition over to rain in the middle column. Okay. In the middle section here. And then the gray area, which I chose gray because it is a gray area in the forecast right now. I have up to 1/10 of an inch of ice. And the transition to rain will probably occur a little bit earlier in the gray zone between, Saturday evening and into the early overnight hours on Saturday night. So this is kind of my current thinking here. Along and east of 231 has the best chance for a transition over to plain rain on Saturday night into Sunday morning. Along and west of US 231 has the better chance for a potential ice storm, okay? Especially the further west you go, out towards Columbia, Spring Hill, Mount Pleasant. That's where I'm talking about. The potential is there for a significant ice storm, okay? Now, right here in the middle, Shelbyville, Chapel Hill, Lewisburg, Manchester, Tullahoma, Lynchburg, 1/10 of an inch to a 1/4 inch is still a lot of ice. We're talking about potentially some scattered power outages and tree damage as well. And of course, anything that falls on Saturday morning is going to stick to the roads no matter where you are, right? So keep that in mind that we are going to have travel impacts throughout the day on Saturday, especially where the rain doesn't fall on Saturday evening and into the overnight hours, okay? So keep that in mind that there are a lot of variables at play here, and this map will change between now and the time of onset of precipitation as the new short-range model guidance continues to come into the Weather Center here. But I do think that this is going to be a very impactful winter event for us here across southern Middle Tennessee, especially further towards the north and west as you get towards Columbia and Mount Pleasant and Spring Hill, and even further like up towards Nashville, Franklin, Brentwood, places like that, okay? So, what everybody wants to see here, let's look at it. All right, Elijah's freakout meter. Let's see where we're at now. Okay. We are up to A level 4 out of 5 here. We're here for a level 4 out of 5 on Elijah's freakout meter. Get the milk and bread and maybe some Jack, or like I saw a post earlier from the Manchester or Coffee County Library that said get some books. Go get some books if you want. So level 4 out of 5 on the freakout meter here. Because we are getting a little bit closer to time. Confidence is increasing in the potential ice risk. Now, this is just more of a fun thing than anything. Do you actually need to be freaking out? No, but honestly, the milk and bread is already gone from a lot of places. So I'm honestly late, and I probably should just take it to a level 5 by now. But I mean, honestly, this is it's coming. It is. But we're at a level 4 right now in terms of the precipitation or the freakout meter here. So over the next few hours or overnight tonight, 5 p.m. partly cloudy 46, mostly cloudy at 8 p.m. 38, and 10 p.m. cloudy and 36 degrees across the area. And then, sorry, I keep on looking over here. I'm trying to keep myself from not doing that, but I've got to look over there to be able to change the slide because I've had to do it manually. 7-day forecast here. Friday, 42 degrees, mostly cloudy. Saturday, a 90% chance of freezing rain, sleet, some snow, high of 37. Now, I want to say this too, because this 7-day forecast is generalized for my entire area from Columbia all the way down to Grundy County and Suwannee, down to Sherwood and Anderson, as far as southern Franklin County. So this is incorporating a big area, okay? And this is an average of every city. This is the average high temperature. So keep in mind that, there's a chance that Columbia stays at 31 degrees for a high on Saturday, right? Or the Suwannee could get up to 40 degrees on Saturday, right? So this is just an average over the next 7 days here. But what I want to draw your attention to here is Sunday night into Monday morning. I have a low of 8 degrees right now across the area. And then Monday night into Tuesday morning, a low of 4 degrees. And some of the data I've been seeing here as of late has wind chill values into the below zero and maybe into the negative teens across the area. Okay. So it is going to be very, very, very chilly on Monday into Tuesday. And then we have another system that we're going to be watching in the next weekend. I'm not going to comment on anything about that right now. I have way too much going on, but just be aware that I am watching another potential system as we head towards next weekend. Is it going to be rain? Is it going to be snow? Is it going to be ice? I don't know right now, okay? I'll just go ahead and lay that out for you. I don't know, but just be aware that I am watching a potential for another system as we head towards next week, okay? So with that being said, that's kind of what I had in mind for today anyway. I'll keep this ice accumulation forecast up for a minute and look here on Facebook and see if we have any questions across the area. So, oh yes, that's a good point, Michelle. Thank you for that. So what's going to end up happening is, even if we get some of that rainfall, like the Barron model here is showing, where it's pretty widespread rain here, if we get some of this rainfall to push into the region, right, it's going to melt what's already accumulated, but it's going to be a lot of rain where we're going to have standing water on some area roadways and stuff potentially, and that is all going to refreeze very quickly on Sunday night, okay? Once the temperatures get below freezing, there is a major black ice risk and potentially even a flash freeze risk, okay, on Sunday night into Monday morning. So travel is going to be treacherous, I think, overnight on Sunday night into Monday morning as well, and potentially even further into the week, especially where we get a lot of that ice accumulation, okay? So keep in mind that even though we may get a little bit of rain, and that would be helpful for the power lines and the trees and infrastructure, it is still going to cause issues for travel as we head towards Sunday night into Monday morning. And I'm not going to completely rule out the idea of a few passing snowflakes or snow showers on Sunday night into Monday morning. I think that is a low threat right now, but just be aware that that could, we could see a few snowflakes on an early Monday morning as the parent low pressure system begins to pull away. But it does look like this is going to be a very impactful winter event. Now, this is just one model, and we can show the GFS model here. And the GFS model shows a lot more of the pink stuff, right? So Shelbyville 33, that would be rain there, but Bell Buckle 31, that would still be freezing rain on Sunday at 12:30, right? So the general takeaway here that you need to know is that there is potential for some mixing, right? There's potential for some plain rain to get above freezing, especially the further south and east you go in the coverage area. So that would be Grundy County, Franklin County, Coffee County, in towards Moore County as well, parts of Bedford County, likely going to see a little bit of rain start to mix in and could limit overall impacts, widespread impacts as we get into Sunday. But still, widespread impacts are expected on Saturday. Okay. I know this is a confusing system, right? This is confusing. It's confusing for me. But I want you to know that we're still expecting widespread winter impacts as we head into Saturday morning. Okay, Saturday morning into the afternoon hours before the rain and the warm air starts to transition some of our precipitation over to mainly rain, especially farther south and east. Widespread impacts are expected everywhere from Swanee to Columbia and Santa Fe and every point in between. Okay. So this is my ice accumulation map here, up to a tenth of an inch possible for our far southeastern areas, a tenth of an inch to a quarter of an inch across our far or our central communities along the 231 corridor, and then a full-on ice storm is expected for folks, especially along and west of I-65 from Columbia to Spring Hill to Mount Pleasant. Okay, this is my current. I So, Jerica just put this in here. I heard that the storm is tracking back south. If that's the case, what is the weather going to look like? I haven't seen the storm track too far back south. There have been some ticks towards the south that I've noticed, but not enough to make any major forecast changes. And this forecast is based off the latest data that I had at the 12Z run today. Okay. Yes, Joseph, you're exactly right. Nature plays its games to keep things interesting. You're exactly right. I'm going to have gray hair by the time we get done here. So I believe that there is going to be a low end flooding threat where if we get a whole lot of rain, right? If we do transition to rain fairly early on, like the Barron model is suggesting, the Barron model right here that is suggesting that we'll transition over to rain for a lot of us pretty early. I believe that there is a flooding threat that we don't need to completely ignore. Now, do I think that this is going to be a major flooding event or anything? Absolutely not. But and that's only if, again, it's just if, thens, and buts. If we do get a lot of the area to transition over to mainly rain, but I don't think that that's. I think that this is way overdone. I think that the Barron model is overdoing the warm nose by a pretty good margin here. I think this is probably more like what we're going to see. I think in terms of the warm nose, where we get a transition over to rain, is probably going to look something like this. I think. Tomorrow morning is fine. Friday is your last day to prepare. Prepare for potential power outages, right? Make sure you have all your plans in place. Make sure don't be traveling around on Saturday. And even if we do get some rain on Sunday, there's really not a need to get out that much. Because the temperature can drop very quickly back down below freezing, and all that can become ice, right? So it's just better to stay off the roads on Sunday, no matter where you are, and just let this storm pass. I mean, it's a weekend inside is not the end of the world for a lot of us here. I think that we could all use that. In terms of so Kayla is asking for how people who commute for work in Nashville and Franklin. You're definitely going to have issues, probably worse issues. The further north and west you go, the more ice they're expecting, right? So Franklin and Nashville going to see a pretty significant icing event as well, in my opinion. And this is going to impact a lot of travel pretty much everywhere across the area, right? But um, I would definitely be prepared for widespread travel impacts anywhere you are, right? And this is going to be black ice. This is going to be black ice and could be hard to see. Hard, I mean, a lot of ice. It looks clear on the roadway, and you can't even you don't even know it's ice until you're already slipping and sliding everywhere, right? So. It's important to keep that in mind, and there could be some down trees too, especially with the ice accretion of a quarter to a half inch. That's when you start getting some tree damage too. They had probably somewhere between 3/10 of an inch and 4/10 of an inch on top of Chestnut Ridge back in 2021. They had a big ice storm up there, and they're it's still honestly to this day. If you look at some of the trees up there, it looks like a tornado or a hurricane came through there. Just the way the tops of the trees are cut out from the ice storm that happened then. Now, am I expecting that to happen again? I think that the same areas getting impacted like that. I don't think so. I think this is going to be a little bit further towards the west where we have issues like that. But Winchester looks like that we're. I can go back here. So, for everyone that needs to see this again, this is my general thinking right now. The best chance to change over to plain old rain on a late Saturday night into Sunday morning is going to be our areas south and east. Areas along and east of US 231 is where I think the best chance for a changeover to rain will be. The best chance for a changeover to all frozen precip is going to be along and west of US 231. Okay, so in terms of Winchester, you're going to be in the best chance for changeover to rain fairly early on. And I'll show you this graphic here that shows when we could see a changeover to rain, possibly as early as Saturday afternoon in Winchester. And that's why ice totals are a lot less there, right? So you could see up to 1/10 of an inch of ice before we transition over to plain rain in Winchester. Okay. Unfortunately, I cannot comment on, is it going to be safe to travel anywhere? Is it going to be safe to go anywhere? That is a decision that you'll have to make. I can give you the information to help you make that decision, but I cannot make that decision for you, unfortunately. Too much liability on my behalf if I do that. So, trying to find some other. Okay, so um, Mara asks about Manchester. So let's go back here and look at Manchester. I think Manchester has a good chance to change over to rain late Saturday night into Sunday morning. And then up to 1/10 of an inch of ice will be possible, or up to 1/10 of an inch, maybe up to 2/10 of an inch, a quarter inch of ice will be possible in Manchester on throughout this entire event, right? So for the duration of the event. But I still think that a transition to rain is likely in Manchester as we head towards late Saturday night and early Sunday morning. Okay. And here's my freak out meter in case you want to see it again. This is all fun and games, nothing to take seriously here. But I think it gives a good idea of what, kind of what I'm thinking here. So get the milk and bread and maybe some Jack for this event here. And we could go up to a level 5 here. Could be up to a level 5 by tomorrow. We'll have to wait and see what the latest data has. I can't comment on exact, how long the power might be out or anything like that. That's something that that's something we can't figure out. Unfortunately. All right, I think we are about done here. So, Miss Venus asked about travel on Monday morning. So Monday morning, black ice, freezing temperatures are likely to move back into the area if we transition over to rain. Freezing temperatures will begin to push into the area late Sunday evening, and that'll quickly transition any leftover moisture we have on the roads into black ice. Widespread black ice is likely on Sunday night into Monday morning. So I don't foresee travel being encouraged on Sunday night into Monday morning. Okay, because we're going to get really low in temperatures too. Because I'll go back to the 7-day forecast and we'll look at the low temperatures again. The Sunday night, Monday morning, a low of 8 degrees. Okay, so it's going to be bone chilling cold for us on Monday morning. So any moisture on the road is going to freeze over very quickly as that big Arctic air push begins to come in. I don't believe that this event can really be compared to any of the ice events we've had in the past, at least for, I mean, I've heard stories from other folks, about the different ice storms that we've had around here. And people always try to compare this event to, any other event we've had before. And, I'm fairly young, of course, so I wasn't alive in 1994. I mean, it's hard for me to comment on if this is going to be like any event, honestly, because I don't remember very many events past like maybe 2008 or 2009. So anything before that, I'm not going to be able to comment much on. But I think we would be doing a disservice if we compared this to a widespread ice event like that. I think that this event is going to be very impactful for someone in our area. Someone in Middle Tennessee is going to get a lot of freezing rain and a pretty big ice storm. But I think it would be a disservice to compare this to any major ice storm, just because we do have this chance to change over to rain. And I think that right now it's a good call to have this in the forecast to change over to rain based off the data I'm seeing. And that would, limit accumulation and totals by a wide margin. Okay. Thank you, Leslie. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. So, thank you guys for tuning in. Seriously, I appreciate y'all, and thank you for trusting in me. And we're gonna get through this storm together. We got a couple days where data can change, and we could have some updates in the model guidance and everything like that. But I do think that I have a good forecast package out right now, and these graphics are available on the blog, on the weather blog, if you want to look at these for yourself too. But I think we have a good forecast package out right now. Not much change at this time, but as new data comes in overnight tonight and into tomorrow morning, I'll be sure to update anything that we need to. And again, we'll be live here at 4:30 p.m. again tomorrow. Okay, so I appreciate you guys tuning in so much today, and we will be back here tomorrow at 4:30, and then I'll have a blog out, and I'll continue to post updates on social media as we get the latest information in. Okay. So thank you guys for tuning in to this long edition of Kirby's Weather Snapshot on the STN Weather Channel forecast update. And I hope to see you around this same time tomorrow at 4:30. Have a blessed Thursday evening.
Accurate local weather without the mainstream hype. You're watching the Southern Tennessee Weather Channel.